In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace a master cylinder in your Ford Taurus. It's located on the driver's side firewall under the hood. Okay, so we are going to take the cap off. Make sure you have a drip pan ready and some absorbent squares underneath and next to wherever the fluid will be going, in case you drip anywhere. Now you're going to take a siphon of some sort and you are going to start taking the master cylinder fluid out. Try to get as much out as possible. That looks good to me. I'm going to put the cap back on. So if you want to make things a little easier for yourself, you can disconnect your air box by removing your lines. This one goes in the back. This one you can disconnect, put over here. We are going to disconnect our sensor. Okay, so now you can pull that red tab, unplug that sensor, and unsnap those. You should be able to remove that. Loosen up your hose clamp. I'm using a flathead screwdriver. You can also use a socket, looks like a 8mm. Set that aside. All right, so we're going to disconnect this plug using a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to press in. Once you get your screwdriver stuck under there, you're going to yank and that plug should come out. It's got a weird little tab that locks it in. You're going to use a 13mm line wrench and you're going to crack that loose. You can go ahead and I would work it back and forth if it looks a little on the rusty side. We sprayed some penetrating oil in there. Make sure you have a drip pan below and your rags or absorbent squares stuffed in there to catch any brake fluid that may drip. You get that unscrewed, you can pull it away a little bit. If it's super rusty, just kind of be gentle. All right, now that you have that line free, let's loosen up this one. Using a 13mm as well. You're gonna crack that loose. Right. Once you get that loose, you can pull it a little bit away. Okay, using an extension and a 14mm socket, we're going to loosen up our bolts in the back. All right. Now we're going to go on the other side and get the other one. So we are going to remove this plastic piece here. That's hooked on to our stud. So you're just going to pull it off and just move it out of your way for now. Okay, now we're going to go down with our 14mm socket and get on that nut. Alright, so now you can take your nuts off. I'll place mine right here. And make sure this line is completely out. Clean it up around the edge here. Our car is obviously pretty rusty, so if yours is rusty, it may not want to come out of the booster. I'm going to give it a few more yanks. Okay, so our car is pretty rusty, pretty corroded. So it's okay if yours is to put some locking pliers on it and just give it a good wiggle. Try to free it out. Watch out for your brake lines. When it finally does come out. There we are. All right, so before installing a master cylinder, you need to bench bleed it and get it ready for installation. So I'm going to put mine on my vise, holding by one of these ears. And I have some pre-made lines here that's going to help me with my bench bleed. You could use hoses too, if you'd like, as long as you had fittings on them somehow. You're going to insert your line into where it goes on the master cylinder. Tighten it down. Insert your other line. On this master cylinder, it's on the other side. Usually they're next to each other. Tighten that one down. Now you got to take your cap off. You're going to use recommended .3 brake fluid. You're going to fill this up to max. Insert your lines into the master cylinder. Make sure they're submerged in the brake fluid. All right, so you're going to use a punch and maybe something to soften the tip a little bit, maybe a paper towel. You can also use a brass punch, and you're just going to push in and out. And this is really just to soften the edge of the punch so you don't damage the inside at all. Okay, I do not see any more air bubbles. Now we are ready to install. Now you can take out your lines. Make sure you put your plugs in. These handy dandy plugs they give you. Just clean up the master. Make sure the cap is clean. And there's no debris around it, and put your cap on. All right, so we've plugged up our master just in case it drips a little, and now we're ready to install it into the car. All right, so now we're going to install our master cylinder. lines. I'm going to start my nuts. All right, we're going to use a 14mm socket. And you're going to tighten up the other one. And now we're going to torque those to 24 foot-pounds. All right, so now you're going to torque this to 24 foot-pounds. And the other side as well. Okay, now that you have that torqued, you can take out your little plug. Make sure you have your absorbent square down there. All right, so now feed your line in. Make sure it's lined up correctly before you start threading it in. To snug that down, you're going to want to use a line wrench. That should be good. Now we're going to take out our other plug and put our other line in. Again, you're going to snug it down with your line wrench. If your line has fallen out of its bracket, you're going to put it back in. It helps keep the line stable. Just be careful if it's rusty. Okay, so now we're going to come back over here. We can remove our absorbent square. And we are going to guide our plastic piece over here back onto the stud where it lives. And make sure we're attached up top. That's good. And now we're ready to plug in our master cylinder. Make sure it locks in. All right, so now I'm going to top off our fluid. And we're going to put it up to max if it's not already there. Okay, so now we're going to put our air box back. It's a good time to change your air filter if you feel like it's gross. I'm going to guide this up. Alright, so we're going to make sure we're locked in at the bottom there. Just make sure your air box is lined up. And we're going to tighten down the clamp here with an 8mm or a flathead screwdriver. Tighten it wrist tight. We're going to put our hose in here. Make sure it's underneath your cables here. And then this one goes here. Plug in your sensor. Snap in the red tab. Make sure your connector is tight. And we are going to lock down the air box. Just recheck your connections, make sure everything's happy. So you're going to want to clean and inspect the area. You're going to take your cap off. So you're going to fill it up to the max line. Replace your cap. The bleeding sequence for this Ford Taurus is right rear, right front, left front. Make sure you take your cap off your bleeder and apply your something to catch the brake fluid as your person in the car holds the brake pedal down. All right, pump it up. You're going to need a 10mm line wrench for the bleeders in the rear. It's to the floor. So we're going to close the bleeder off, pump it up. Holding. To the floor. So when it's to the floor, you're going to tighten it. And do one more. Pump it up. And he's holding, so I'm going to loosen it. Make sure you close your bleeder screw. All right, make sure you clean the area with some brake pads cleaner. Put your rubber cap back on and proceed to the left rear. All right, after you do the first two wheels, you're going to take your cap off your master cylinder and you're going to top off your fluid. Make sure you have it up to the max. Replace your cap. And now you can continue with the bleed procedure. All right, so take off your rubber cap. All right, you're going to be using an 11mm line wrench to loosen your bleeder screw on the calipers. You're going to ask your friend in the car to pump it up. Pump it up. Loosen your bleeder. Tighten your bleeder. Pump it up. Loosen your bleeder. Tighten your bleeder. I still see air bubbles, so pump it up. Loosen it up and tighten it up. Pump it up. Loosen your bleeder. Tighten it up. And put your cap back on. And clean off the area. Now you can move to the other side. All right, so now we're going to do our final top off. And take our cap off. This guy, you're going to need some sort of a funnel. And we're going to fill it up to max. Put your cap back on. Now that you've topped off your brake fluid, you're going to put your wheels back on and torque them to 95 foot-pounds. Test your brake pedal out. If it feels good, take it for a road test. If it doesn't feel good, you're going to want to do the brake bleed all over again. Then take it for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.